starting the show. We're going to get to trial information. What day is it? Let me see. Diddy's trial is live. I'm not certain what day, but thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. Right now, the alleged mule is on the stand, and he's testifying on what he experienced working with Diddy, being with Diddy, how things, what the day to day was in regards to what was expected of him. Very interesting because I've learned this morning that he was asked to take a and he had to do so by proving his loyalty. So that in itself is a concern because you're a company, a business, and you're giving alleged substance to your employee and asking the employee to bring substances. So that can be an issue. It could. Good morning. Yeah, I'm still over here setting up. You the first one in, Paris. Hey, first one in. I'm up. I'm up. And see, that's what's funny about me. Sometimes I'll go to bed late and then I sometimes wake up early. That's where the struggle bus is. Yes. Good morning. That's what it is. That's why I be like, who picked this time? Hey. But we definitely want to get into some stuff this morning, y'all. The drug mule is finally on the stand. Now, some people, I, if you only knew, I was like, wait a minute. Let me go run this errand real quick. Oh, yeah. I'm funny sometimes, Paris. I am. I'll be like, oh, I normally do this at this time. Oh, I need to make that run. That's only gonna take about 15 minutes. Let me go ahead and see which. Yeah, I'm funny, Paris. I'm here though. I'm here though. And then I'm thinking about, oh, should I? Oh, should I? But yes, the drug mule is on the stand, y'all, and he's talking about working with Diddy, how that's transpired, what was expected of him, and he of course carried things. There was a time that he didn't have a certain pouch to carry things in, and Diddy was mad that the pouch didn't match what Diddy wanted him to have, and allegedly Diddy fired him because he didn't have a certain pouch. He kind of said, like, okay, I'm gonna lay low because he know he gonna need me, because he gonna, so yeah, Diddy was something else in regards to this mule and the expectation. No boss should be expecting you, because we're hearing that from other people too. Other assistants said that they sometimes was asked, will you? And some people that took the stand. But remember how one of the people that was around Diddy wouldn't take it because their family member had issues with substances, and they were like, I'm not going to do it. My loyalty is with you, but that I'm not going to do. So we're generally talking. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. I don't know who's making comments. YouTube is removing your comments, so please be kind in the comments. It's early. I don't have time. It's early, so be kind in the comments. Um, Let me see. Okay. But yeah, I think it was a good idea to save him for last. But is he really last? Because remember, they're stating that they had cut the list. And I will say, as always, thanks for tuning in to Let's Talk About It Media 21. And he's innocent until proven guilty in a court of law. I haven't even did my disclaimer. Okay, let's get to that. I saw Paris and I got excited. Hey, yeah, there's a lot going on. And it's interesting, you guys, when you hear different YouTubers and what their thoughts are, but then when you go to the legal side, and that's the side I like. This is not legal advice. This is not advice. But the legal people break it down to where you understand legally there's concerns. We hear that there's concerns anyway. He should be focusing on music, baby. Let's be very clear, some of y'all YouTubers. He should be focusing on music, but instead he's focusing on FOs, substances, and street stuff. Okay? Okay. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Okay, so let me get to the disclaimer, y'all. Copyright disclaimer: under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by a copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. Thanks for being here, everyone. Yes, I had to get to the disclaimer. There it is. There it is. There it is. Yeah, I'm in a silly mood, so just be aware. So yes, Diddy is listening to what the mule experienced working with him. Hold on, I'll go back to that. Okay. So, like I was saying in regards to the Tyler Perry situation, Diddy is a company. And there had to have been, I'm curious if there was an HR department. I'm curious if there was a union. Because, let's see. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I get that a lot. I did a lot of, let's say, customer service work back in the day. And you know what's so funny? Boo Bay loves my voice too. But see, I have a lot of friends that are women, a lot of friends that are guys. And he understands. These are people I grew up with, you know. So sometimes when we're out and about, we could just be talking. He's like, babe, y'all can talk. I said, I know, honey, right? So, yeah, I get that a lot regarding my voice. And I think I'm wondering if that's why most of my viewerships are men. Most of my viewerships are men because I like to make it clear to y'all of what's happening and what I'm understanding. This is never legal advice, but let's break it down. Some people I used to listen to, I'm so confused. It's 8 minutes in. What are you talking about, girl? And then I just had to stop listening because it was like, and then I went over to a page and a guy was doing a reaction. And the people in the comments is like, what is she talking about? I'm so confused. She always does that. And that's like, okay, it's not just me. So I try and bring y'all an understanding on what's happening, how it's happening, and try and break it down to a decent level so we all can understand and enjoy it and have a good time. Okay, so the mule is on the stand. Now we understand that the mule came last week and he was supposed to testify, but there was so much that happened in that court and there was delays last week, slight delays this week. The judge went in on the attorneys because there was leaks. Okay, what happened there? Okay. But you guys, check this out. Did you guys realize, allegedly on Instagram, there was a leak voice either yesterday or the day before? And I'll also bring up other stuff. She thought her video was leaked and she was going off on the person and making unwelcoming comments. I have to be careful because I haven't even hit 10 minutes. And in my spot, when I made that video, I said I'm side-eyeing the court because how is it in court proceedings? This video should not have been leaked if it's in court proceedings. Real talk. Now, I'm going to say this, and I was holding on to it. Wait a minute. This week, remember there's a lot going on. There was a young lady in the court. See, I hear stuff. Catch this tea. Paris, catch this tea. This week, there was a young lady in court, and she was taking a minute, grabbing her items, okay? And they say, hurry up, ma'am. You need to leave because I need to address them. She said, okay, I'm just gathering my stuff. I'm gathering my stuff. And then one of the officers or sheriffs, whatever, who was in the court that is police-like, they said to a gentleman, are you recording? Baby, we think somebody had been recording, I think, last week. Okay? They got caught. They said to the person, if you get caught again, you can't come back. What do you mean? They should have been arrested. You are not to have your phones, recordings, no cameras are allowed in the courtroom. Yes, Paris. I was holding that little nugget for a minute. Yes. So, you're going to realize there was an article that was leaked over the weekend. This week, there was a person that was allegedly recorded, and they got addressed. Now, mind you, when you go in, they take your cell phones. They take your They take items that can be hurtful to somebody else. They take your phones. So that means when you came in, you gave them one phone, but you allegedly didn't give them another phone. Allege. Somebody reported on it. I heard it. She was in there. There wasn't a lot of people in there. And it's interesting that he almost waited to the last minute to leave when it wasn't busy with other people being in there. She was in there because they told her to hurry up because they was trying to address him. Baby. And for them to address him, how they addressed him, and they did not say, you can't come back, you need to follow us, that in itself is concerning. I told y'all there's so many distractions, so many concerns, so much going on. That person should have been addressed a different way than other than you could never do it again. And they allegedly possibly let him go. Baby, so many concerns. This judge has to be frustrated with the alleged leaks, the concerns with the attorneys, the request for the mistrials, the juror not showing up now. The juror must have shown up today. But let's address that too. There's jury selection. How did y'all not address that juror of where he lived and make it very clear you need to be in the New York area? You can't be living somewhere else. You can't move somewhere else. Make sure that everything, all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted. How is it that they didn't make that very clear to the jurors? And maybe he thought he wouldn't get caught, but you telling people you live somewhere else and you're transporting yourself from this location to that location. Okay, so that's issue one. In regards to the medical concern that this juror had, how did y'all not ask these people if they have a long-term medical issue? And if there could be an issue that could arise that could medically affect you with this court, they should have made sure of that too. Where people live, do you have medical long-term issues that could arise? Allegedly, in regards to this person, allegedly said they had vertigo Wednesday. Now, some people are saying some of the media was there, but they were surprised that it wasn't a lot of media that normally would be there because they knew the mule was coming. So did the person call the day before or the morning of in regards to his medical issue? So people were saying if that person don't show up Friday, the mule would have been there a lot longer than he should have been. And they've held that mule up because the mule was supposed to hit the stand Tuesday, didn't hit the stand. And then Wednesday, there was a call in. Yes, be nice and respectful in the comments. I'm on a roll and I'm cooking. So there's issues there. Now, mind you, too, Tuesday morning, there was issues outside in regards to people trying to get in the court. Mind you, there are reporters that have badges that can get in. There's an access for reporters, 24 or 20, 23 or let's see, 24 or 25 reporters that can get into the court. In regards to media and local people, there's only 14. So people were acting interesting Tuesday morning. And they need to be careful. Why would you be acting up at a courthouse? Okay. So there's that. So I'm updating y'all on what's happening in the court, outside the court, and what's happening with the mule. Okay. So we're going to get through some clips because I'm going to be trying to update you guys on what's happening in the court. Okay, let's go here. Hold on. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for supporting the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, and don't forget to continue to hit the like. So I update y'all on a lot because I hear different things when I can. I put my earbuds in and kind of grab some tea for y'all. So yeah. Now, for the person that was allegedly, I'll say allegedly, but if I heard it and somebody did a video on, I'm gonna tell you, because not a lot of people were in there. So will the judge address the person that allegedly had a recorder? And was that person recording allegedly to give that information to put it out on their own page? Or were they putting it out to allegedly give to TMZ? Or were they putting it out to do AI? Okay, so let's get to this video. Let me set it up. And then I'm going to be listening in on what's happening in court so I can update y'all. Okay.
today? I know, I was truly surprised because every day I wake up, or try to at least wake up at 4 a.m., get here by 6:30, we're all ready to go. I have my notepad, I have my pen, I'm ready. The judge gets on the bench and he's like, the juror is sick. And so we're going to adjourn for the day. Now, as far as just the more kind of reasons as far as what really happened, the judge gets on the bench and he says this juror was on his way to court this morning. What we did know about this particular juror is he is one of the alternates, but he did get sick on his way to court this morning. He had vertigo and then he turned back around to go home. And so you're kind of monitoring the situation right now. There's no need, as far as further action goes. They're just waiting to see and make sure that the juror is okay to continue on Friday, and then possibly have more discussions just about what had happened if that juror isn't able to get better. But hopefully the juror is able to get better so that way court can begin on Friday. But really today, Jesse, court was about 30 minutes long. I mean, outside of the judge revealing to everyone that a juror is sick, and so we're going to adjourn for the day, which, by the way, both sides did agree upon this. And so what ended up happening is probably he sat down on the bench by 9 o'clock, 9:30. We were all out of the courtroom, and everyone was kind of like, oh, well, we have another free day because then we don't have court tomorrow too. So it was a pretty interesting turn of events today, even though there was absolutely no testimony today.
And heads up, you guys, today for the court may be, it's another thing I allegedly heard. Today in court may be a short day because allegedly someone that's a juror has a family matter that the court had already knew about and that they plan on attending. So court may allegedly, unless they said, okay, I have to stay because we missed Wednesday, Thursday. If court ends soon today, you guys will know I told y'all that there was already approved half of a day for today. So the mule may only be on the stand for a short time, allegedly, and he may have to come back Monday. So his trip was supposed to probably be 2 or 3 days. His trip has been 5 and 6 days. So yeah. So if court ends soon, it's because something was already approved. Okay, so hold on. There we go.
Yep, because tomorrow's Juneteenth. So
fair use reaction clip.
No court. So what does that do to the schedule? Don't they want to be finished by what, July 4th? Do they realistically believe that that's going to wrap up? Because you have how long is the defense's case going to be? You have closing arguments. You have jury instructions. Talk to us about how this messes up the whole schedule. Yeah, it really kind of does shift everything, especially because not only do we not have court on Thursday, but Friday's kind of a smaller, shorter schedule. We're only going to court from 9 to 1 because one of the jurors is...
See, told y'all, 9 to 1. I be knowing my stuff, y'all. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Celebrating, I think, their child's graduation, so that's pretty exciting. But as far as just the delay of the case, it really is kind of pushing everything a little bit back. So first of all, the government planned on resting their case today, but that was before the cross-examination of Special Agent Alyssa Penland kind of took a little bit longer than I think the government had planned, and then they were planning to call Brendan Paul on the stand and then another summary witness. So as far as just even that, we haven't even heard from Brendan Paul just yet, so I assume now that we didn't have court today that he'll take up much of Friday, if not all of Friday, because he still has to do his cross-examination, even though the prosecution said that his direct will only be about an hour and a half or 90 minutes, but depending on how long the cross-examination takes, I assume Brendan Paul will be on the stand again majority of Friday, and there's one final witness, that being the summary witness. So sorry, everybody, it doesn't seem like Christina Coram will be called as a government witness. I doubt she'll be that summary witness because they named who that person was, and it wasn't Christina Coram. And so then what happens with the defense case is once they pick up the case, Mark Nicolo said his defense case could last anywhere between 2 to 5 trial days. So it's still a pretty short amount of time, but I don't know how much of this delay as far as day goes will really...
They're asking the drug mule, is he indebted to Diddy? And he's basically saying it's been a decent experience.
Push things back because the judge's whole plan altogether was to make sure that we were kind of done by 4th of July. So we'll see kind of what happens, especially when the defense takes over and they do their case, how much of a really big trial delay we might have. Will we get out of 4th of July? We'll see.
Waking up sore and stiff. Your pillow might be...
Fair use reaction clip.
First of all, we have the super chat question from...
Paris, are we good in the comments? Be kind in the comments, you guys. Don't be stressing my Paris out. We do things a little different over here. We don't do clickbait. We bring y'all the TTT the way we bring y'all the TTT. Court, in regards to information from the news, anything I do hear from different sources, reliable sources, and any information I get in regards to certain attorneys I listen to. And some YouTubers that have a good kiki, and I've been listening to them. Yeah, Paris, ignore the comments, girl. Half the time I'm looking at you. 50% of the time. And if I see something, I'll read it. But yeah, girl, let sometimes you gotta realize some people don't have a life. They're mean, they rude, disrespectful. So a lot of times I don't have time for it either. So do you have no notice? Most of the times in my chat, I don't really go back and forth with people. Maybe once for 30 seconds, and then I move on. Some people are not okay. They're just not. And see, also, some people aren't really paying attention to what the lawyers are saying and where the legal concerns are and where legally what people are saying on the stand and how it's him being an enterprise. It's a concern. I'm not a legal eagle. I don't even say the defense or I don't even go through all that. I say Diddy's lawyers. We're general over here for a purpose. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it's not worth it. Some people like, and see, that's the other thing. I have to be cautious of what I read because they want you to read certain things they're saying to try and get me in trouble. See, that's what happened when somebody allegedly leaked somebody that was supposed to be anonymous. They allegedly leaked the name. And I don't even think the judges confronted that person for leaking that person's name. So yeah, I'm very cautious about what I read. Your statements that you make, Paris, I'll read them and then I'll read it kind of out loud. But yeah, I'm cautious. People in the comments will try and get your page caught up because right now I'm looking at myself on TV. Y'all comments don't show on TV. Y'all comments show here. So people in the chat can see what's being said. But yeah, if I read the wrong thing, it's going to be in my video. So that's why I'm very cautious about reading y'all comments. And that's why I say, if y'all want to become a member, be a member. But yeah, let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Yeah, I'm cautious about what I read because they can catch me up in the comments on some BS. And I ain't here for it. Smarter than that. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Smarty Pants. Smarty Pants, thank you so much. I'm going to save your super chat question for a little bit later for the panel. So don't think we forgot about you, Smarty Pants. And I'm also just waiting, I'm just trying to get as many times I can say Smarty Pants as possible. But
yeah, they've had a lot to say about Jane Doe, and I've been trying to refrain from because you got to be careful with these courts. They say people are listening. I'm cautious over here for a reason. Fair use reaction clip.
No, we're going to answer that question later. This is from Rita Connors, though. Hey, Jesse and Elizabeth, do you think the prosecution will put on a rebuttal case? So after the defense's case, are they going to put on a rebuttal case? Have you heard anything about that? I haven't heard anything about a rebuttal case. I would assume, and I say that kind of with, a little bit of hesitancy, that they would put on a rebuttal case. I feel like that's normally what we see, especially in a big trial like this. It's been a lot of testimony that these jurors have heard. It's been going on for weeks at this point. And so depending on, I feel like, where the defense goes with their case, I feel like maybe the government will call maybe one or two witnesses, but I don't think it'll be for a long time frame. But they haven't said anything yet. This is just me kind of guessing at this point. Elizabeth, I don't know if you have the answer to this, and maybe if our producers will have an opportunity to look at this too, but I've seen this question come up a little bit. It's from Danny.
And remember, I think this is the mule's first time getting in trouble with the law. And then a lot of the people are getting immunity to hit the stand. So Diddy likes for people to show their loyalty to them. And he likes to have stuff on people. Think about it. The Cassie situation, when he said, Cassie, I'm going to put it out. Cassie flipped out. And then he had said to Cassie's family, give me some money to protect your daughter. She want to date somebody else. Give me some money. What did the family do? They went to go take out a mortgage to give this guy money. And then within the week later, he gave the money back. He likes to be in control. He likes to be in control. And, I'm glad I didn't leave. He likes to be in control, and he likes to treat people a certain way. This is a business. You guys realize there's rules and regulations on how to handle a business and how he handling his business. He has people doing FOs. He has people carrying substances for him. Okay, let's say you work at a mortgage company and the boss wants to date the girl and he got her F&O'ing and he got a guy carrying substances. That in itself, if you know that a company has substances, that's illegal. The substances itself is illegal. So there's rules, regulations, there are standards that companies has to meet. And see, that's what's interesting to me when people say, oh, he ain't do nothing wrong. What? A judge jury's gonna have to decide. He innocent till proven guilty. But for people to say he didn't do anything wrong, it's okay. We understand some people are not well. What? But yeah, you got to continue to look at it. This is a company and an entity. He has a standard that he should be meeting. Real talk. Yeah. So let's continue. Fair use ration clip.
Question: is there a conflict of interest for Tenny Garagos representing Sean Combs, which she currently is in this case, and Christina Corum? Have you seen anything that Tenny Garagos is representing Christina Corum? I have not. I have not. That's honestly the first time I'm hearing of this. And so I don't want to answer that question just because I'm not 100% sure that's true. But it is a good question if it is true. I will say that. It is. We'll look into that a little bit more. I haven't heard anything about it. By the way, when you talk about Brendan Paul, who's come up a lot in testimony, what do you anticipate his testimony?
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Testimony for this overall racketeering, sex trafficking, transportation to engage in prostitution case. Well, I think probably the big thing might be whether or not he participated in setting up the rooms for hotel nights or freak-offs, that sort, because I believe when he started working with Sean Combs, it was around possibly the Jane time frame. So not sure if he had overlap with Cassie necessarily, because that was what they ended their relationship in 2018. So it'll be interesting to hear what Brendan Paul has to say, because he had been working with Diddy up until just last year. And so I'm interested to see what he has to say, not only about possibly setting up hotel rooms, but also what he has to say in terms of drugs and how that all kind of went down. Because remember, everyone.
And y'all got to remember, his house was raided. He was arrested on his way on a trip. That's huge. And what they were able to grab from him on his trip, I'm wondering if Brandon was with Diddy when he got caught. I'm trying to remember. Paris, do you remember? Was Brandon the mule with Diddy when they got caught, or were they on a different plane? They were separate. They were separated. Remember, Brandon was at a different location. Diddy was walking and pacing. And I think that might have been why he was walking and pacing, because he realized his mule got caught. Yeah, they showed him being put in the car. And it looked like Diddy was at a different location. That's smart that that's being said.
He was named in one of the civil lawsuits as an alleged drug mule. And so I feel like because he had to invoke his Fifth Amendment right and not to kind of perjure himself, or the Fifth Amendment right not to self-incriminate, I should say that, and that he was given an immunity order, that I do believe it has something to do, just kind of like the other assistants who got immunity deals, that it might have something to do with just
Never paying salon prices again.
And is this street stuff that they're getting? Or are they, now remember, there's other stuff they're getting scripts written for. So why didn't they bring in people that were approving the scripts? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
Also paid for by Sean Combs, that were given to him, but that were, obtained by the assistance from drug dealers. So it'll be.
Could you imagine Brandon's family? Remember, Brandon allegedly played basketball at a college. I don't know if it was a decent college. Can't confirm or deny. But Brandon was like a basketball player. And allegedly he did really well. So he made decent money with the diddler. So could you imagine how Brandon's family is feeling that he is on that stand? Interesting.
Interesting to see what he all has to say when he eventually testifies. He's this former Syracuse University basketball player. You might remember he was arrested the same day as the raids on Sean Combs' properties. He was facing drug charges. That case was dropped. Wonder if it was maybe for his potential participation in this case, although I know he was granted.
Was it dropped so he could testify? Let's continue. Fair use, reaction clip.
Immunity at the beginning of this week. But again, the more you talk about drugs, right, where the prosecution says that Sean Combs was using drugs to keep victims compliant, or the allegation that drug offenses are some of the underlying predicate crimes of racketeering conspiracy, you can ultimately see the value of his testimony. Okay, we got a super chat comment from Carol Mogan. Thank you to the dynamic duo, Jesse and Elizabeth. So kind. And by the way, I have to tell you, before we came on, Elizabeth shared an AI video that she found online of us as little babies, doing reporting, which is great. So very, very kind, yes. Very, very sweet out there. Everybody is interested in doing that. But no, we appreciate all the kind comments. Okay, Elizabeth, I want you to set the record straight while I have a little bit more time with you.
A lot of questions about what this case is and what this case is about and not about. So Janetta Monger says, question to Jesse, what about the underage children, people we've been hearing about from the beginning of Diddy's dilemma? Are we going to hear anything about children being used or involved?
Well, I think, yeah, that
people have addressed that. What's happening in the courtroom is allegedly different than the alleged lawsuits that we had been hearing. Do y'all catch that? It's interesting that what the alleged lawsuits that were put out after he got arrested, some of this sounds different than what we're hearing in the courtroom. Why is that? But why aren't we hearing from his friends, Young Miami, Stevie J? Why aren't we hearing from them? I get that they want people. If he had 3 to 4 assistants at a time, there's more assistants allegedly that could be out there too. And this couldn't have been just the only mule. And we found out KK worked for him for 8 years. Who worked for him prior to KK? So if they had to chop down their list because of all the confusion, that in itself is not good. Because we possibly needed to hear from more people. And maybe they should have restricted, nobody's going to be on the stand no longer than 2 or 3 days. Innocent until proven guilty in a court of law, a judge, jury, and going to have to decide if there's any wrongdoing. But there's a concern here in regards to people were wondering, where's the bodyguards? Where's more of the assistants? Where are people that worked with him at his corporation? And why haven't they taken the stand as well? If they knew things, if they saw things, a company just don't have one person. But many people were saying he's on trial allegedly, but allegedly there's co-conspirators. Is the co-conspirators, is that co-conspirator KK? Is that co-conspirator D-Rock? We don't know. They're not on trial with him. Remember the YSL trial? There was different people that took the stand, and that attorney worked with Young Thug. That attorney is helping here in regards to the Diddy case as well. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip. Yeah, please keep it clean in the comments. Let me see. Oh. And this is not a this is not a legal page anyway. You know, this is we just generally talk. So okay, let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
it's one of kind of the big misconceptions about this federal trial specifically is whether or not minors were involved.
Paris is never riding alone. Never. See how I saw that comment? She's never riding alone. Be kind in the comments. Yeah, people and people think that, you know, it is what it is. The juror may sway a certain way because they may feel that Cassie and Diddy did things together, in which it seemed these women were setting things up too. We talk about different things. I show posts about the family showing up for support. We saw that Kanye showed up for support. You know, in the post, there's times I can post some stuff. There's times I can't post stuff. You know what I mean? So over here, we're just showing what it is. And like I said, I've always said he's innocent till proven guilty in a court of law. Continue to hit the like button, you guys. There's about 423 in the building. Please don't forget to subscribe and turn on the notification. Please subscribe and turn on your notification. Oh, I will say this too. What day was that? Wednesday. My YouTube was very, very interesting. It was hard to find a certain live. So you guys have to make sure you turn on your notifications for sure. Wednesday was interesting finding certain lives. I had to remember their pages' names. So I don't know if that was on purpose to delay stuff. You know, I'll be side-eyeing stuff. Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
And I will say this, everybody, we haven't heard any ounce of evidence that minors were involved or that Diddy was allegedly doing things sexual with minors. We haven't heard any of that in this trial, and I think that's one of the kind of the big misconceptions is that people think that children are involved, other celebrities are involved. But so far as the testimony we've heard so far, it really just has to do with just the victims that have already testified, right? That being Cassie, or the alleged victims, I should say. But again, that being Cassie, that being Jane, and that being Mia. Obviously, Jane and Mia using pseudonyms while they testify. But as far as just any mention of anybody,
skip the line and get right
Fair
to your
use reaction clip. Fair use reaction clip. Yeah, I'm glad Paris can time out people. Did y'all hear about that Karen Reed thing? She was found not guilty. I was in the car listening to that and my jaw dropped. So there's a lot going on. The Tyler Perry situation, there's the Fat Joe situation, this Diddy situation. There's a lot going on, y'all. Real talk. Over the weekend, this week, there's a lot going on. Fair use reaction clip.
In the courtroom.
Yeah, so the electrolytes, yes, I'm drinking my water. I'm making sure I have my water because it's a little hot out here. But the vibes in the courtroom today, I think a lot of people just wanted to know what Brendan Paul had to say once he was going to be on the witness stand. Now, as far as that happening today, obviously we didn't even see him appear inside the main courtroom today. But it was a packed courtroom at the start, as it normally is for this trial. I was expecting that maybe after Cassie testified, maybe after Jane testified, maybe even after Mia testified, that kind of the interest would die down just a little bit. But no, it's still a packed courtroom every single day, to the point they have to turn people away, put them into the media overflow room. And by the way, everyone, if you're here in New York City and you want to come check out the trial, you're more than welcome to do so. It is free. It's open to the public. If you're not able to get into the main courtroom, because normally to get into the main courtroom, you do have to get here bright and early, I would say probably before maybe around that 6:30 to 7 a.m. time frame. But if you wanted to just check it out and see what it's like to be inside a federal courthouse or federal courtroom, seeing what a trial proceeding of this magnitude is really like, it's free. It's open to the public. And a lot of people, even when they're on vacation, even when they're just hanging out with their friends, they realize the Diddy trial is happening in this very courtroom right behind me. They just go up in there. And I've even heard cases where, people have been bringing their children in there, their young children in there, presumably just to kind of, watch everything that's going on. They have their kids with them. And so they see kind of, and I think it's also kind of interesting too, because it's kind of like people are watching it like a movie theater. Obviously there's no food in the courtroom, there's no popcorn, so it's not like that. But as far as the oohing and awing of the case in the overflow room, I have heard that definitely does happen a lot. But as far as the mood goes today in general, I think a lot of people are like, oh dang, we have the rest of the day to ourselves. So I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. To me, it's a good thing, but I think maybe for Diddy, who probably just wants this trial to be over with, I think maybe he was a little disappointed. Possibly, I'm just guessing there again.
What about the jurors? We had a new juror put on the jury, right? What is their whole dynamic like?
Yeah, they're dynamic from what I can see of them. Like when they enter the courtroom, they always come in a single file line. As far as just the way they sit down, they're even kind of, they line up in the way that they will be seated whenever they get into the jury box. And so from what I'm seeing of them, they do have some types of conversations here and there, during sidebars, just moments where not when testimony is happening, nothing like that. But it does seem like certain, jurors do take likings to other jurors. Obviously, I don't know what their conversations are when they are doing the sidebar. But as far as the dynamic goes, I really kind of feel like maybe they're just like one big team that's all in this together for now. It's been more than a month of testimony. And so I could definitely see just the dynamic. But even with the juror being dismissed just this past Monday, I will say I haven't seen so much of maybe a sadness or people being upset that this juror isn't here anymore. I haven't seen it, but maybe this is something that they've talked about kind of privately back in the jury room. But as far as just the demeanor overall, I feel like from what I see, nothing has really changed.
And by the way, Diddy's demeanor. There were sketches that came out. I don't even know if we have them published yet. There are sketches where it looks like he's in praying hands. What's his demeanor been like? We're coming towards the end of the prosecution's case. You wonder or not, does he feel concerned? We've been having discussions for quite some time here during the lunchtime shows that it looks like he will probably be convicted of the prostitution charges because this seems like such a straightforward case. You wonder if that's a concern for him. Obviously carries up to 10 years in prison. But then he's facing racketeering and sex trafficking charges, which can carry up to life in prison. Racketeering, yes. Sex trafficking, minimum of 15 years. How is he doing? Can you get a sense of that?
Yeah, it's interesting kind of seeing Diddy's demeanor. Honestly, it's just interesting in general, seeing Diddy in the flesh and having seen him even before this trial begins in terms of me attending those pre-trial hearings and that sort. So I've seen him in the jumpsuit from MDC and out of the jumpsuit from MDC too, where he's kind of in his more court attire. But I will say, every day when he comes into the courtroom, what he does is kind of scan the entire courtroom as far as kind of who is there. Normally when the way we're seated, it's the public on the left side and then the press on the right side. So he does kind of...
Yeah, there was a summary witness that talks about the different transfers in regards to people being paid too. So that could be an issue. And they showed in regards to, remember how we talked about Diddy requesting Cassie's mom to give money, and she did, and then it was wired back. They did talk about different wiring that was going on back and forth, which is a concern because it shows you're a company, but you're doing other stuff behind the scenes. Fair use reaction clip. They did show the different wiring concerns regards to the case. Fair use reaction clip.
Epoxy will protect your floor.
Hold on. Fair use reaction clip. Like the video. Like the video. Please subscribe, you guys. Please subscribe to the page. Thank you. Please continue to hit the like button, you guys. We got 23 likes. Yeah, I've been more so focusing on subscribers, but you gotta please get the likes up. Please, let's get the likes to 100. Double tap the screen, please. Let's get the likes to 100. Double tap the screen, please. It's easy. I'm doing my part. I'm giving y'all TTT from a few days ago, and I'm listening on the other end of what's going on in the court. Thank you for liking. Thank you for subscribing. I appreciate you. Yeah, and it puts us in the algorithm in a better way, too. Yeah, it puts us in the algorithm in a better way. Continue to hit the like button, y'all. Yes, there's about 259 in the building. Can I please get about 250? Please subscribe. Yeah, that's crazy. You got to hit it's easy. Just double tap the screen. And this video is probably going to have about 3,000 to 4,000 views, if not more. Yes, continue to subscribe, continue to hit the like so we can move forward. And I really shouldn't have to tell people to hit the like, but I do. Continue to hit the like. Can we please get 100 people to double tap that screen? Let's continue. Fair use reaction clip.
And that he'll do the prayer hands too, he'll do the love sign too, he'll just kind of say like thank you, obviously if his family's in that courtroom too bright and early. So they've been kind of coming in just a little bit late after the jury's already seated, that type of thing. But when they are there, when he first walks in, obviously he says hello to whoever it is, whether it be his mom, his son, or his PR team, that type of thing. But even just in terms of when testimony is happening, you know, and I've said this kind of a number of times where it just feels like he's a very active participant in his defense.
And see, they would ask Diddy that he has to approve the substances too, so they have a trail of that as well.
Jotting down notes, he's listening to testimony. I will say when the videos were shown yesterday, he was listening to the headphones. I think he might have had some role in kind of picking out which time codes were going to be shown to the jury, because there was a moment yesterday before the jury was brought in where Brennan called, invoked his Fifth Amendment right, got the immunity deal, but Diddy wasn't present for that part. He was actually in the back reviewing video exhibits and evidence and that type of thing. And so from what I've seen, even just in terms of how early he gets here to start trial preparation, because there's been kind of issues in DC in terms of, you know, him being able to review text messages and videos and being able to do it, especially.
Okay, you guys, I might come back because we're going to want to hear everything that's happening with the mule. What happened? What was expected? What the day was like? How many hours he was expected to work? This is the other thing that the mule admitted to. He was on stuff to get through the day. Baby. Allegedly. The employees' work schedule seem interesting, but you would think that the work schedule of the employees seemed interesting because they say he don't like to sleep a lot. So if he's not sleeping, he's up. Get me this, get me that. Okay, we have to go to the studio. My mule has to come with me. So his schedule, you know, if he gets 3 or 4 hours of sleep, sometimes they would schedule people for the FOs. Somebody may get a call for at a certain time, and the time changes even for the FO people. I'm gonna be general because people be like, you said this time. I ain't gonna do that today. I ain't fooling with nobody today. So sometimes the FO people would be on standby, and the time would constantly change, even for them. Yeah. But yes, fair use, copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. All comments are alleged, in our opinion, and for entertainment purposes only. I appreciate you guys for being here. For the replay game, continue to hit the like button. You can make your comments in the comment screen. Today we talked about what has transpired outside the court, inside the court, what was happening in regards to people in line. And we generally talked about, I was listening on the other end in regards to what the mule was doing, how he was acting, what was required of him. So we did cover a lot. But I'm on one today. Yeah, Paris can probably tell. I'm on one today. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's nothing from, but it's Friday, baby. I'm ready for the weekend. I'm ready to have a good old time. And this Diddy stuff is a lot, but I cover it for y'all. So yeah. So, yeah, and I bring you the TTT, and we debunk stuff over here. We don't do a lot of clickbait. We don't do a lot of clickbait over here. Do I think, from what I'm hearing from some of the legal eagles, and it's pages that I listen to as I've had my page, and I click on, and see, that's the thing. I may click on somebody for 10 minutes, 5 minutes, because I have a life. From what some of the legal eagles are saying, certain things are shaky because it just is what it is. It's shaky. It's shaky. It's shaky. It's shaky. All the confusion, all the concerns, and see, it comes down to the jury. The jury may have felt week 2 and 3, yep, this is not a good situation. It only takes one to say he's not guilty. And then they have to take the instructions, and they have to understand the instruction. So look at the Karen Reed. People were surprised. She was found out guilty. When I listened to that 10 minutes, 15 minutes, I was shocked. My mouth, not a lot of stuff make my mouth drop. Not a lot. But if Karen Reed allegedly didn't do what she did, who did? Who did take that man out? So we may be surprised by these jurors, because you got to understand, you got a juror that was saying he lived what he lived, and then he changed his mind and said he lived somewhere else, and then he changed, and the judge was like, look, if I can't even get a general answer out of you, how can I think that I can get an answer out of you when it comes to us getting a decision out of you? So I can't say yes or no because I'm not a juror, but the biggest thing is how they perceive things, how I perceive things. There are things that the jury is seeing that a lot of us aren't seeing, just like the FOs. Certain things are sealed from the people in court. There's sidebars, and people are looking at people's faces. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot that's going on in court. They're looking at Diddy's demeanor. They're looking at the judge's demeanor. They're looking at how Diddy's team is handling people on the stand. It's like he's in jail, but you're making them feel like XYZ. And that's the other thing that people are talking about, Paris. Catch this, T. How certain people that were on the stand, how often they met with them about the case. Many people are like, wow, you met with them how many times? For what? I guess they wanted to get an understanding of what they went through. But yeah, there's a lot going on behind the scenes. His facial expression, the jury facial expressions, the judge is frustrated in regards to things leaking. This video of Cassie should have never leaked in the media. Yeah, we will have to see. We will have to see their decision, because like I said, there's so many distractions. There's so many distractions. Him bringing I did a short, him bringing a book into the court, and then the reporter asked, hey, Diddy, and he read her lips, what book are you reading? And he said, oh, hold on. And he showed her the book. You're not supposed to be talking to reporters, Diddy. And that's alleged. I watch her page. She pretty cool. But you're not supposed to. And then certain things he's doing in the courtroom, the nods of him in the courtroom, the judge tells him it can't happen again. Can you get him under control? Yes. If it happens again, I might boot him out. It kept happening, and he didn't boot him out. So there's a lot that's going on. And see, a lot of people can't retain stuff. I can retain stuff. I pay attention to stuff. And even though he threatened that he would put him out, he didn't put him out, and he won't. They said that this judge has tried to be so fair in certain ways. Many people feel a way that he let go of juror 6. But if juror 6 is literally living in a different location than he mentioned, the judge had to go let him go. The judge has the discretion to do what he want to do. Sometimes people don't like to follow instructions. Sometimes people want to do what they want to do. And remember, that juror allegedly was making a lot of notes, and he seemed extremely interested in the beginning. And then towards the end, he stopped writing notes. So the judge has his discretion. The judge sees all, hears all, and he has to deal with a lot of personalities. And his one major concern is always to make sure, allegedly, they say, the judge tries to make it easy on the jury because they're there for little to no money. They're away from their homes. They're away from their families. They're telling them, don't listen to the news. You know, how you going to do that? How you going to be around your family? A lot of people are talking about this case, you know? So the judge, I'm sure he probably need a vacation after this. There's a lot of distractions. There's a lot of personalities. And how they're handling people that's testifying is interesting. And then the other side will say, well, didn't you feel that this happened? Yes. And didn't you feel that, you know, this was overwhelming for you? And did you feel that this might have been a toxic environment? Okay. No more questions. And how they did not question more stuff about Cassie mom, because Cassie mom could have said a lot. Cassie mom really could have said a lot. She really could have said, because think about it. A parent don't want their child going through what's being alleged about Cassie. So could you imagine when Cassie's family found out really what their daughter was doing and what she got tied up into? Wow. The MULE, his family thinking about what you got tied up into, and you have to sit and tell your family, well, why would you make a bad decision like that? So this case may be helping a lot of people. There's a lot of, and remember, Paris, we had said, what, Tuesday, Wednesday, who's next to be alleged, raided, or investigated, or lawsuits? And boom, I didn't know the Tyler Perry thing was going to come out. I didn't know the alleged allegations about Tyler Perry. I didn't know about the alleged allegations about Fat Joe. These celebrity men and women are making some bad decisions, and these lawsuits are coming out so fast. So Hollywood, y'all need to get y'all stuff together. And see, this is the clock this, T. Paris. It's a lot of millionaire billionaires. They're having the rise and fall. They're setting up these next young people to almost set up and have their next fall 10 or 15 years from now. It's concerning. It's concerning. It's concerning. So I'm hoping a lot of these Hollywood people are learning, you got to be careful. They'll plant people in your life to have you do X, Y, Z. Real talk. A lot's going on. Tyler Perry situation, baby, I did a short in regards to him sitting on his porch singing. A boss can't be flirting with an employee like that. What's being alleged. There's a lot going on with these famous people, and they're making bad decisions. We would have never thought 10 years ago Kanye would be in the situation he in. 10 years ago, Diddy kept a lot of his stuff hush. People didn't know all this stuff about the diddler. They talked about it, but now he's on the stand and he has a trial. Some of these famous people, their careers are plummeting so fast. What happened with Tyler? Baby, go look at the YouTube videos. Tyler has allegations against him about a gentleman that did different movie roles with him. He's making different allegations. And allegedly, we can't confirm or deny in regards to if that's really Tyler Perry messages to him. Because right now, you can put a person's contact name and you can type what you want with their name. It's alleged about Tyler. So the next day, you can change the name of the person, but the text messages are concerning. What's happening with Tyler, we can't confirm or deny even what happened with Christian. I'm not going to mention his last name, but there was a gentleman that did a video about 8 or 9 months ago, and he was complaining about his boss. So these famous people need to be very careful about the choices they make because there's a huge rise and fall. It's almost like you have this huge success being a millionaire, billionaire, and you're losing it so fast. It took some of these famous people 15, 20 years, 30 years to get to where they are. And some of them are losing it all within 1 year. Some of them are losing it all within 1 year. And some people are being planted in these people's lives to bring them down. Cat Williams said it best. Some of your favorites is going to surprise you. And all lies will be exposed. He said it. What else did Cat Williams say? He was approached to do certain things. And some of these men are saying, I'm not going to be made a fool of. You're not going to hear me doing XYZ. And it's sad because we see some of these younger actors so talented. And we constantly hear that they're getting arrested. And we hear about the swinger life. We hear about the swinger life that these Hollywood people are doing. It's so concerning. The rise and fall of some of these celebrities is so concerning. But allegedly, some of the choices were made. And in every situation, if a celebrity made a bad decision, a judge, jury, and a court is going to have to decide if they made just bad decisions and broke the law. I don't know. I don't know him. I've never been around him. So I don't know what people are saying is true or false. I don't know. We just report and we make comments and we give our opinion. That's what we do. And see, it's so gross. It don't seem like he was concerned about it. And have you noticed, Paris? Real talk. A lot of people's health concerns are sealed. They're not even talking about the health concerns. They're not even talking about any of the health concerns that some people have. His record is even sealed. His record is even sealed. And then I'm listening to some of the FO people saying he would get mad if you wanted something to protect yourself. Almost like throwing the umbrella to you. There's stuff I could say to y'all. He'd get mad if you want the protection. And then some of the people, I'm going to be general, but I'm going to tell y'all what I know. Let's get to it. Some of the FO people would keep the records on them to show they don't have something. Some of them. I don't know if all of them did that, but I recall a person saying their phone was taken, regards to alleged FO, their phone was taken, and then it was asked of them, are you clean? And it said, if you give me my phone back, allegedly, if you give me my phone back, I can show you I'm clean. But see, you could have took that test on a Monday. You could have slept with somebody on a Tuesday, Wednesday. They could have gave you something. Protection is needed. You just never know what a person could do 2 days later. But here nor there, it's being alleged sometimes protection was not used. Yep. Yep. And there's other things I can say, you know. Yeah, keep it clean, everyone. We're just generally talking. Some of the stuff that's being reported. But it's sad that the jury had to listen to the FOs. And yeah, I couldn't. What the jury is experiencing and how long they've been there, it can't be easy in regards to the jurors being up there. So people probably enjoyed the 2-day break, Wednesday, Thursday, and then today maybe a half day for them. So I may try and come back, or I might do a short video won't be doing nothing tomorrow. So I may try and come back today. And if I do, I may try and come back today. And if I do have to do a video tomorrow, it's going to be short. Big time family time tomorrow. So yeah, I might be a little too busy tomorrow. But I did really good last Saturday. I think I had like 60K views. So every month it's 100 views. So yes, subscribe, you guys. I definitely want to try and get to 100 subscribers by the end of the year. You better ask somebody. Yeah. And people are gathering the tea. And even when I listen, I have to go back, click the button, and hit the like for people too. So if you're not asked, people won't hit the like. People won't hit the subscribe. Let's get the likes up, you guys. Can I please get 100 people to double tap that screen? Can I please get 100 people to double tap that screen? And that may be how I have to do it. Ask for a certain number. But yes, please subscribe. Please turn on your notification. Certain people I were trying to find on Wednesday, I could not find them. I had to manually put it in on YouTube. So it's interesting that YouTube was on something. I noticed a lot of stuff. Even my guy friend said, "Babe, you notice a lot of stuff." I said, "I pay attention to my surroundings." Yes, I do. And I pay attention to stuff. And I pay attention to the algorithm. And if I'm normally able to find the lives, normally what's going on. But it's all good. Yeah. Like the video, like the video. I'm going to try and come back. You guys, be careful. It's supposed to be in certain areas extremely hot. Make sure you have backup fans, battery operated. Make sure you have, if the power go out, you have, candles. But make sure you have backup handheld battery operated fans. It's going to get extremely hot over the next few days. Make sure you have proper groceries. Have what you need. My page is a little different, but here nor there. This Diddy stuff is not easy, but I bring it to y'all the best way I can. Yeah. So focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Everyone be blessed. I will try to come back later on today. Yeah, it's supposed to get extremely hot. Protect yourself. Check on your family members. Make sure they have battery operated fans. That way, if certain times, it's interesting when it gets hot like that. It's almost like the equipment gets so hot that it kind of just goes out for a day. But make sure and I got my stuff. I'm always prepared. Yeah, hot summer. It was kind of mild, but these next 5 days are going to be definitely interesting. Yeah, even with my family event for Saturday, Sunday, it's like, man, I got to make sure I got ice. I got to make sure stuff is covered up. Man, even when I went shopping, it's like, man, I got to get this ice cream home. Yeah. Yeah, you guys, I'm going to definitely try to come back. I'm on one today because I have a busy weekend. So, but we need to hear what's going on with the Brandon Paul. So that's why today I was letting you guys listen to what's happening. And then I was listening to what was happening in court. That's why I did a little different today. But I really want to get a gist of what's going on. I didn't even really do a big live about Fat Joe. I'll get to it. I told you my page is different. I don't have to be first. And sometimes my family stuff. And we be having a good old time. So why do I want to talk about, certain stuff? So sometimes I'll give y'all a short about what's being talked about. And sometimes I used to do 8 videos a day. Almost like 10 minutes. I used to do 8 videos a day, almost 10 minutes long. That took up all my day. I don't do that no more. Yeah, so I bring y'all what I can. So I appreciate y'all. I'll try and come back. And if I come back, it may be, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. Because if court lets out early, they're going to be out of court making videos. So we'll see. I appreciate you guys. Be safe. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Protect yourself when you go out. Make sure people got your back. This Karen Reed situation, it's interesting what happened to the guy that passed. He's thinking he's amongst friends. So be careful, y'all. Be careful. I appreciate y'all. Be blessed. Focus on healthy, safe relationships. Be around people that's loving, kind, and respectful. Have a great Friday. If I don't come back, that means I got to come back tomorrow and tell y'all what's going on with Brendan. And then whatever little tea I'm hearing, So yeah, we lay back over here. So thanks, you guys. Be blessed. Goodbye. Thank you, Paris. I appreciate you. Enjoy your Friday. If you can't come back, I understand. But I'll do my best to come back. Thank you, Paris. You're always amazing. Have a great weekend, you guys. Be safe.